When my grandmother was a teenager, her family was put into a train to be taken to a death camp to be exterminated in gas chambers. Her father saved her life by pushing her out of a small vent that was in the top of the train car. And before he pushed her out, he told her that if anybody survived, it would be her, because when she was a baby, she had gotten a special blessing from a very famous Jewish rabbi. He pushed her out of the car along with two of her younger siblings, but her siblings were both shot by the guards on top of the train car, and my grandmother fell into a snowbank, and she was the only member of her family to survive. I grew up superstitious that God had saved my grandmother's life because of this special blessing, and that in order to thank God, I had to be the perfect Jew. When I was a teenager, this translated to a lot of anger towards my parents. I thought they weren't kosher enough. I thought they weren't modest enough, etc., to have merited this life that God had given us. I became super strict about religion, and after high school, I actually moved to the West Bank to live in a settlement, to attend a yeshiva that in my community was considered the best. The only Palestinians I ever saw there were janitors and groundskeepers who we were told were friendly Arabs. It never occurred to me that it was wrong to live in this beautiful neighborhood where we had everything, while just over the fence, millions of Palestinians were living in a prolonged illegal occupation where they had to mark their cars differently from Jews, drive on separate roads, not unlike the way that my grandmother lived before the war, when she couldn't even walk on the same sidewalks as the Poles and the Germans because she was Jewish. I later came out of the closet, which is ultimately what saved me. But to this day, I'm ashamed that what woke me up was my personal struggle with acceptance in this community, and not my awareness of how we were treating other human beings under the guise of safety.